Hey, Brittany.
Hi.
Yes, I'm so sorry. My name's Rosie. I'm just joining the call. Nice to meet you. I'm on the HR team.
Hi, Brittany.
Hi.
Thanks for meeting with me and Rosie. We have an important meeting today. We finished our evaluations of 2023 performance. This is where you have not met Cloudflare expectations for performance. We've decided to part ways with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Sure.
So I started August 25th. I've been on a 3-month ramp, and then it was 3 weeks of December, and then a week of Christmas, and then here we are. I have had the highest activity amongst my team. Since I've started, I have had 3 contracts out, done a really great job managing my deals up until the very end that decided not to close last minute. So I don't think that makes a lot of sense for me in my Cloudflare journey here so far. Also, every single one-on-one I've had with my manager, every conversation I've had with him, he has been giving me nothing but I am doing a great job, I have had great activity, I have really great meetings, I'm picking up the products very quickly, and things have been going really, really well. I make really great relationships with my clients. So I disagree that my performance hasn't been, I haven't met performance expectations, when I certainly have, just because I haven't closed anything officially.
I hear you.
Also, why are you doing this and not my manager? We've never met, so this seems a little odd that my manager has no idea that this has been happening and the director has no idea that this has been happening. So I'm just definitely confused, and I would love like an explanation that makes sense.
100%. Real quick, let me carve out the
Before he goes on, I think she's made a big mistake recording this and putting it online, because this video has gone viral. She's being laid off now. I don't know if she's found a job, but I, as an employer watching this, would not hire her because she's recorded the conversation and put it on TikTok.
Do you not think it's unfair dismissal, though?
It's not unfair dismissal. The companies use very vague language when they are firing you so that they're not held liable for anything. So you can't say X, Y, and Z. They keep it very vague to protect themselves. But my issue here is that I understand that you can get in your feelings. I understand it can be very difficult to be laid off. I've been laid off before. I've been laid off twice. And I know it sucks. I remember the feeling of dread, like how am I going to pay my bills? But if I had recorded that and put it on the internet, I can only imagine that other employers would see it and be like, well, I'm not going to hire you. You're airing out our stuff. Would you hire somebody that's posted this?
No, I wouldn't. What is the overall engagement with her video that's been posted online, though? Is it...
they're on her side.
They're on her side.
Overwhelmingly on her side. And I read the comments, and the thing is that I understand the feeling, like the feeling of dread, especially living in London, that you've been laid off a job. I understand that can be really, really difficult, but I wouldn't be stupid enough to record it. I just wouldn't.
No, that I wouldn't record any experience and put it online there, but everyone seems to record everything these days and put it online. And then when they get the validation of everyone interacting with it, they're not learning a lesson here because everyone's on their side.
Well, the thing is that Brittany might get a job, but she will learn a lesson if this video reaches other employers and they see this, because then they're going to know that if they feel like it's time for her to leave... Do you know, the reason that they're being very vague is that she could actually be an arsehole. Yeah. And maybe she hasn't hit the performance of that she's supposed to be hitting like the rest of her colleagues. She's saying she's the highest, but maybe she's not high enough. And she's also the office bitch. Right? If she is actually just an idiot to work with, I'm not saying she is. I don't know who she is. But I've been in meetings before where they have laid off a person because nobody likes them because of how they behave in the office, even though their numbers are similar to other people's numbers. That goes a long way. Like, building rapport at work goes a really long way in keeping your job. And I don't know what's going on, but I can imagine that's why they're being vague. It's a possibility.
I reckon her manager was too scared to do it themselves, so they've got someone else to do it.
I think when you're being fired or when it's a dismissal, I'm pretty sure HR gets in contact with you. My HR did it to me.
Not always, but also I think maybe she is being dismissed unfairly, which is why someone else is doing it.
You think she's being dismissed unfairly?
Yeah, I do.
Two threads. The latter of why I'm on this conversation, I'll put that one to the second half, and Rosie might be better to explain the process of who is giving this information in the prior piece, which is your feedback and notes about your performance. So let me add a little color context to that. So just for clarification, you are not being singled out in this. Your peers are also being collectively assessed on performance. This is a collective calibration for Cloudflare. So I just want to clarify that piece. I won't be able to add any kind of specifics on numbers or...
Wait, yeah, no, can you explain for me why Brittany Peach is getting let go?
I won't be able to go into specifics for numbers.
Wait, why though? I just started. I've been working extremely hard. Just because I haven't closed anything that has nothing to do with my performance on a 3-month ramp with just 1 month with 2 major holidays in the middle, I don't think that has anything to do with why I should be let go, if that makes sense. So I really need an answer and an explanation as to why Brittany Peach is getting let go, not why Cloudflare decided to hire too many people and are now actually realizing that they can't afford this many people and they're letting that go. If that's the real answer, I would rather just you tell me that instead of making up some bullshit and telling me that right before I lose my job from someone that I've never met before, if you can respect that.
Yeah, I can totally respect that. And I don't think Dom or myself today is going to give you any clarity or answers that's going to meet the expectations that you're communicating to us, Brittany. So I can't speak to...
So am I getting let go for no reason? If you guys can't give me a reason?
I'm happy to follow up with you separately to give you the data that was calibrated. I'll need to speak with revenue leadership specifically to see if we can get that for you. But Dom and
can
I
you
did
share
not
that
have
with me
that
now?
in our meeting. I cannot share that with you right now, unfortunately. Yeah, it's understandable how you feel and your frustration. Cannot stress that enough.
I have been
I understand why she's getting upset. It's difficult to hear words like data calibration. You were put into this pool basically and they picked you out of the pool. I get why she's upset, but I think one thing people need to realize here is that she's recording it for TikTok. So she is going to be on her best behavior for TikTok. She's going to portray herself to look the best she can. They don't know she's being recorded. Do you really think in a situation like this, most people would behave calmly? I've been in dismissals and I've been the one on the receiving end of it. Now, when I got dismissed, because of my personality, I was quiet, but I was upset. I left the office. But I was also there when other people were being dismissed. And I can tell you right now, most people are not that calm in these sort of situations. I could hear them from the office screaming.
I mean, I've never been in that sort of position before or situation, so I wouldn't know what it feels like. And I've never seen anybody get dismiss and act a certain way either. But I think the way she's talking within this, like this whole, I just think it's bullshit, blah, 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 and recording it and posting it online, I think that is definitely going to hinder her with finding future work because, you know, it is showing a bad side that you wouldn't want employers to see either.
Yeah. You've already lost one job and now you've put in their minds that you can't be trusted to have a confidential discussion about these things. Like I said, I get being let go is difficult because I've been on the receiving end of it, so I'm completely sympathetic. I'm completely sympathetic to the fact that you might feel hard done about a company you don't even particularly respect. Let's just be honest, most people don't like their employers. You know, that is the reality for most people, so it can sting even more when you're trying to work this job to pay your bills and then they let you go for maybe bullshit reasons. The one thing that people need to understand is that when employers or HR call you for these calls, anything you say, almost 99% of the time is going to go in one ear and out the other. The decision has already been made. Any conversations that you have is literally wasting your time. I'm telling you that 100%. Don't ask me how I know. I just know. Anything you say is not going to matter. You've already been dismissed. They're just letting you know now. This isn't a case where she can fight her case and say, oh, well, this is bullshit and this is the reason why. Almost 100 times out of 100, you're already gone. You're off the books. They're just being courteous enough to let you know.
Working extremely hard. I just knew that this meeting was coming after knowing what's been happening with my peers and how extremely frustrated and upset everyone is. I know you guys must not be able to understand that given in the positions that you are in, and it must be very easy for you to just have these little 10-minute, 15-minute meetings, tell someone that they're fired, completely wreck their whole life, and then that's it with no explanation. That's extremely traumatizing for people, if you can imagine that. And I don't think that this is, it's just very, very shocking. Very, very shocking. I have really given my whole energy and life over the last 4 months to this job, and to be let go for no reason is a huge slap in the face from a company that I really wanted to believe in.
Can absolutely understand how you feel that way, why you feel that way. And I'll be honest with you, there's nothing that we're going to say in this call in the time that we have that's going to undo the way that you feel right in this moment. And I personally will do everything that I can to give you as much specific information as I can after this call. I can't make any promises.
She's not going to get that information.
No.
When she's gone, they're going to come up with a bullshit reason. It is likely that the company's trying to save money and you were chosen out of the hat. And they're trying to feed you some BS and say, we'll get it together for you. All of us have heard this nonsense before. I'm telling you now, some companies will just fire you just because. And the reason that they're vague with it is to avoid liability. That's the reason they won't tell you on the call. If they already had the data to share, why can't she share it now when she's saying she can share it later? What's going to happen is they're going to go back and talk to the executives and HR and directors, and they're going to come up with some stupid reason. They're going to find a reason that you can't hold them liable for, and then they're going to feed you that. If you are lucky. More often than not, you ain't going to hear no explanation. You will hear no response. As soon as your stuff is packed and you're out the door, that's it. You're finished.
That is really sad, though.
It is sad. I get where she's coming from. I'm slightly skeptical of her acting because she's on TikTok, and anytime people are filming themselves doing anything, I'm like, don't know if this is really you. I don't know if this is how you would really react. But in the situation of being fired, I understand why it can be very, I don't want to say traumatizing, but it can be a lot to deal with. It is a lot to deal with, but don't think these employers are going to give you a proper explanation. If they had a real explanation for you, because sometimes people get fired and they're legitimate reasons, like if you go and punch somebody up, or you steal, or you're constantly in work late, or you're constantly pissing people off, or you're maybe, I don't know, destroying company property, they'll tell you on the spot, this is what you did. But usually when they don't tell you on the spot, it's because you probably didn't do anything. The company just needs to make some cuts.
I understand where you're coming from. I can tell you that Dom and I do care. I understand the feeling that you have right now, and I can't change that. So I'll just be honest.
But why can't, you guys have still not given me a reason why I'm being let go. Despite constant positive
Sorry, that silence was too loud.
It was loud.
They should have prepared themselves better before going into this.
It's because in a lot of these meetings, people don't challenge them. They're so shell-shocked by what's happened. They're not in the right frame of mind. They're thinking of their car and their house and their kids. They're not thinking to challenge them. And that happens a lot. They probably weren't expecting pushback. They were probably expecting this to go how I imagine all the other meetings went that day, where people were just like, oh, okay. And then cry in their room, because these people are working from home as well. So it's not even like they have to pack their bags and leave. They're already out the door. This is a very simple process for HR. It's unfortunate. You do feel like a spoke on the wheel. And the unfortunate reality is that most of the companies that we work for, we are just a spoke on the wheel. We are replaceable as much as we might think we're not. And they will find somebody else. They might not do as good a job as you, but they'll find somebody else. They don't really care. It's very rare that you find a company that really cares about you. It's usually when they're doing something like something they're passionate about, some sort of passion project that's turned into something. But when it's these like big corporations, you're just a number. There's thousands of the numbers. They're just going through the motions. You're probably the 10th person they've dismissed today. Their feelings are out the window. There was probably a time where they felt bad to look at somebody face to face and let them know that they're being let go. But it becomes even harder to have an emotional connection with somebody in a situation like that when you're doing it for a Zoom call. Because you just press the off button, that person's out of your life, they're gone. It's like watching us on YouTube here. Me and Sabi could have like an emotional outburst and like lose our minds, but then you just turn the camera off and you keep it moving. It's not the same as if we were in your face doing it.
Praise from my manager, great meetings that I'm having. The amount of activity that I have has all been positive. I have not received any negative inclination. I have not been put on a performance improvement plan, nothing. So.
And I cannot speak to what your manager has communicated to you directly.
But that should be the indication of
poor performance based on your attainment and leading indicators of data. That is the rationale.
But I've been here for only a month after ramping, and that was during a holiday. So I don't understand what those. Can you explain what those performance metrics are, or is that just like a vague term to give to everyone that you're speaking to today?
I'll say that the performance indicators and performance metrics are, well, we're not able to go into specifics, and there's no situation where we will be able to go into
Do you guys even know, like, why, like, who you're talking to each day? Like, every single 10, 15 minutes, do you guys even know who you're talking to? Like, why you're letting these people go when you don't even understand, like, the kind of work and everything that they've put in?
I hear you and what you're saying.
It just doesn't make any sense that you guys have still not been able to give me a reason why I'm being let go.
Just from a process perspective, your questions are valid. This isn't going to be the forum and the situation where we're able to go into the detail that you're looking for.
But then when? If it's not right as I'm getting fired, then it's certainly not going to be after when I'm no longer part of the company.
Yeah. So I don't think there's anything we can say in this moment or today, Brittany, that's going to change the way that you feel. And it's understandable. I'm taking notes and feedback, and we'll circle back.
Yeah, I know you did that for Nestle too, but that's
of the meeting. It's not going to change the outcome of the situation today. So it may be best if I do get into more of the specifics of what the next steps are. Because I think it's clear that you have questions that we cannot give answers to. And if you'd be open to it, I'd love to move into what the next steps are so that you're not any further blindsided than you already feel.
okay.
Thank you, Dom. Okay, and I'm really sorry that you're having this experience and feeling this way. One of the things that we want to confirm is your personal email address, because that's where.
That is so sad.
It's difficult. I understand why she's upset. I understand why she's anxious. I understand that feeling of dread. I've been in that situation twice before when I was younger.
It is that whole concept of you've worked so hard at something, and she's probably put in a lot of time into that job just to 3 months later get told see you later, and I'm not giving you a reason why. That's terrible. That's
the thing. Like, you interview for these companies and you do break your back for them, but they don't care about you. It's very, very rare. You'll know when the company cares. You will know when you're valued. And I'm not someone that says to people, don't try your best. But at the same time, you need to be aware of like the reality of the situation. You're just a number. I am completely sympathetic to her. I understand what she's feeling. I just don't agree with recording it, because recording it is not going to change it. Employers are always going to be vague, no matter what you do, to avoid liability. That's just the way it is, and they can get away with it. No matter how many videos we record. The only time that this might have paid off is that if they said something fucked up to her. If they said something messed up to her and she got it on camera, then that she could have done something, because then she could be like, look, this is what I've been dealing with. And everyone could have been like, cool, maybe other employers are doing this, but it was the same sort of dismissal you hear all the time. So I get where she's coming from. I understand working really hard for a company and not being appreciated, but just remember that as much as you might think that you're the dog's bollocks in your company, you are just a spoke on the wheel most of the time. You're probably expendable. But I do feel bad for her. I know what that feels like.
Yeah. I do think it was unfair dismissal.
It probably was unfair dismissal because they weren't being upfront with it. But then I don't know if the company's trying to save money, is it unfair dismissal or is it just shit?
But then they should have given her a correct reason.
They can't, I don't think they can say that.
So then if she wanted to take them to court, she'd win then.
I don't know if she'd win. I don't think
If
there's
it's unfair
grounds.
dismissal.
I think unfair dismissal has a certain there's criteria it needs to meet. I don't think the company needing to save money is one of them.
Well, they'd have to show proof as to why they've dismissed her. And if they can't even show her proof, they're going to have to rustle up something for the courts.
Oh, they'll rustle up something. They always do. But yeah, I feel bad for her.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to flame her more for recording it on TikTok, but I know what that feeling's like. I don't think she should have. I think it's going to hinder her opportunities in the future, but hopefully she gets back on her feet because we've all been there.